football is presented by Valvoline, now celebrating 150 years under the hood. For more on the storied history of Valvoline, visit teamvalvoline.com. And by Dr. Pepper, it's a college football tradition. And by T-Mobile, switch to the network built for unlimited data.
And there it is, the axe. And as the end of this Pac-12 season approaches, all of these Pac-12 weekends become even bigger, right? Especially the game that you and I are about to enjoy right now. And today, it truly is about the axe. About 10:20 this morning, the axe was loaded onto a bus in Palo Alto. Then a caravan of buses left on the 43-mile journey up the bay. They crossed the San Mateo Bridge and arrived here in Berkeley right around 12:15. Now, under the protection of the Stanford Axe Committee and some plastic for the rain, the axe made its way toward Memorial Stadium. But wait a minute, look at that. Look at the waist area of the committee member on the left. That is a metal rope or a chain connected to the axe. As a matter of fact, they are both physically connected to make sure that there's no way to lose control of it. Yeah, listen, for the next 4 hours, everyone associated with these two academic powerhouses will shift their attention away from trying to earn an A to fighting for a W and having their school own that axe for a year. And look, the fans around the stadium, they can be as wild as they want, but it's the coaches and players who must have a chain on their emotions and behavior to make sure they don't lose control. Roxy?
All right, Lewis, a short kick from Noah Beto, fielded by Stanford and Glenn Love, and he's brought down shy of the 20-yard line. Outstanding coverage by Cal's Bryce Love, actually, on the return for the Cardinal. And Stanford will get the ball first. Cal won the toss, elected to defer. And there is Keller Chris coming off a strong game against Oregon. You were there at Autzen Stadium last Saturday to see him as he's taken over the helm of the Stanford offense.
Overall, the best game he's played in his career. David Shaw told us he feels like every game that Keller Chris has started at quarterback, he's gotten better and better. We saw more of the tangible results, though, from a statistical standpoint last week.
Stanford lines up in a power formation with Christian McCaffrey. Keller Chris hands it to McCaffrey, and McCaffrey gets about 5 yards. Nate Herbig, the true freshman, leading the way. Brought down by Raymond Davison of California. Stanford has won the last 6 big games, and as Lewis was talking about the axe, Cal desperately wants to grab a hold of it, but this is a beat-up football team that Sonny Dykes has right now.
It certainly is, and one of the things that they're looking to do, and Art Kaufman, their defensive coordinator, says he's going to keep it simple defensively. We're going to see a good amount of man coverage on the outside, trying to get as many eyes in the backfield and bodies near the line of scrimmage as possible.
Christ, and the pass, and it's caught close to the marker, as that's to Dalton Schultz, the tight end. It'll be 3rd and 1 for Stanford. There is Sonny Dykes in his 4th year at Cal, looking for his first big game win. Took Cal to a bowl game last year, and the Bears need to win their final 2 to get to a bowl game this year. The jumbo formation for Stanford. McCaffrey into the line. It's close. Cal thinks they stopped him. He's right at the marker, and keep in mind the marker is not exact, but it's awfully close.
Well, we saw bodies like Cameron Walker and James Looney diving into the backfield. Look at Looney going over the top for a defensive tackle, knowing that the offense is in their 4-point stance. They're firing out low. That's what Stanford's known for in these short yardage scenarios. Looney with a phenomenal effort, just going over the top and able to affect the ball carrier.
Appeared to be a favorable spot for McCaffrey and Stanford as they stretch the chains. And he got it by about a half the length of the football. First down, Stanford. So David Shaw and the Cardinal come in at 7-3, back in the rankings at number 24. And coming off a trouncing of Oregon at Autzen Stadium last Saturday, where Christian McCaffrey ran for 3 touchdowns. And Stanford amassed 540 yards of total offense and nearly 300 on the ground. The big difference last week, they were +4 in the turnovers. First down, 10 Cardinal at the Stanford 29. That's Dalton Schultz in motion. Daniel Marks, the up back for McCaffrey. And McCaffrey picks up a pair. Couple of yards. James Looney, the first man there for Cal.
The ball. Oh, sorry, partner.
Against this Cal defense, which has struggled against the run, Anthony, all year. There's 128 teams, and at the FBS level, Cal ranks 127th against the run. That's not good.
They're improving, though. It used to be 128.
They're also in total defense 127. On second down, Christ, and it's incomplete. Cal may have gotten a piece of it as the pass intended for Michael Rector. Devontae Wilson, who began his college career at USC, got his hand up on that one.
Wilson made an inside move here, starts up the field, and then great violent hands on A.T. Hall, able to club his way inside and then just tip the pass as it's leaving the hands of Keller Christ. It's one of the things that Wilson's very good at the line of scrimmage, able to make that violent club working towards the inside. Hasn't been able to finish a lot of them towards sacks, though.
Third down and 8. Keller Christ under pressure. He's sacked. Devontae Wilson for the blind side, got him. The senior from Corona, California, 3.5 sacks on the year.
And this time able to beat A.T. Hall around the edge. Gets out of his stance, outstanding first step, chops that outside hand of A.T. Hall. And then, as I just referenced a moment ago, Devontae Wilson being able to finish at the quarterback. That's the next evolution of this experienced football player.
Jake Bailey, the punter, on his own 10. The sophomore averaging 43.5 yards a boot. Vic Wharton back to return for Cal. It's a high wobbly kick. Wharton calling for a fair catch, and he makes it at the Cal 30-yard line. 46-yard punt for Bailey. And what can this sack do for the Cal defense, Anthony?
Well, they just haven't rushed the quarterback very effectively throughout the season, and for a secondary that's so beat up and so many bodies, especially scholarship players that are no longer in the lineup, when their defensive front can play like that, can hit blocks in the run and rush the quarterback without additional help, that's going to make for an effective day.
Davis Webb, third in the country in passing, the senior from Prosper, Texas, the graduate transfer from Texas Tech. And there is Chad Hansen breaking free for Cal. Hansen into Stanford territory. Hansen, touchdown!
It's been over a month since we've seen the healthiest version of Chad Hansen. Most certainly a career year. They line him up out wide to the right side, snap after snap, but the variety of route combinations they can show will give Chad Hansen more of an opportunity to be freed up like that.
Davis Webb, his 34 touchdown pass. Michael Mothershed, a referee.
Number 62, offense. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff. The result of the play is a touchdown. Correction, the number is 52. Thank you.
So after the play, there was a personal foul called against Cal. And it was on Dwayne Wallace, who's an offensive lineman. Matt Anderson for the extra point. And for Chad Hansen, his 10th touchdown catch this season. And the emerging star, the transfer from Idaho State, is Anderson. Remains perfect on his extra points, and it's Cal who strikes first.
It's on and popping in Bears territory. Hansen taking the slant, evading tacklers. Davis Webb, reservations for 6.
Here's the Cooper Tires scoring drive. One play, 70 yards to Chad Hansen. 7-0 Cal leading number 24 Stanford, the 119th big game. And we know strange things happen in the big game. Stanford, Anthony, a big favorite coming into this game, and Cal's the one that strikes first.
We referenced the passing game, really needing to lead the way, and the good thing for Cal with the result of that play, it wasn't Davis Webb's arm that needed to be on display as much. It was a quick read, ball got out of his hands, and then the run after catch ability of his wide receiver, Chad Hansen.
Cal kicking off from the 20 because of the personal foul, and Noah Beto squibs it. And juggling it, here comes Kevin Palma for Stanford into Cal territory. And Stanford with outstanding field position. The penalty really cost California, and Stanford on the plus side of the field.
Players with 3+ receiving touchdowns throughout the season. Just look at the list that Cal's put together throughout the year. 6 in all. It's the most by any team in the Football Bowl subdivision. That's how they've been able to spread the football around. And one thing that Sonny Dykes and Jake Spavital spoke to us about yesterday is the fact that when Chad Hansen did have to leave the lineup with an injury, it forced them to spread the ball around even more. And the comfort level that he and Davis Webb have together, that's now infiltrated its way throughout the rest of the wide receiver corps.
Jumbo formation with Christian McCaffrey, the running back, Chris Harrell in front of him, and the presence of McCaffrey giving Stanford great field position. Keller Chris deep over the middle, and it's caught. Stanford immediately in the red zone to Greg Tabuada.
David Shaw told us he's not going to have any issue throwing the football. You see there, just a power pass, play action in the backfield. Keller Chris gets those shoulders and eyes whipped around. Nice quick read. He did also have Nick Wilson running a corner route as well. He decided not to throw it to his jumbo tight end.
Down to the Cal 16. Chris keeps, and it's wide open for him, and Stanford responds. Touchdown Cardinal. That didn't take long.
Well, not only do you have one of the most scintillating weapons in the country, one of the most effective decoys, because the entire Bears defense went with Christian McCaffrey as they faked the stretch play, that outside zone look we've seen week after week. Keller Christ has the legs to make the defense pay.
First rushing touchdown for Keller Christ, making his 4th start for Stanford. Conrad Ukropina for the extra point. And we are tied. 11:03 to go in the first quarter. It's the big game, and it's tied at 7. A 16-yard touchdown run by Keller Christ has tied the big game at 7. Still 11:03 to go in the first quarter. Pac-12 football presented by Valvoline. Jake Bailey getting set to kick off for the Cardinal. Kalfani Muhammad and Trey Watson back to return for California. As Bailey with the kick, and Muhammad from the goal line. And the former track star out across the 25, or to the 25-yard line. Let's go back to the touchdown for the Cardinal.
Well, here's what led to it. Of course, our eyes on Christian McCaffrey. He's right here. The entire defense virtually with their eyes on him as well. Got 9 players there. Run action from the offensive line will take them towards the wide side of the field on the stretch play. That allows the free path for Keller Christ for the 16-yard house call.
His first career rushing touchdown. Davis Webb with Kalfani Muhammad, the running back. Chad Hansen's out to the right. Demetrius Robertson, his first catch. And the freshman All-American candidate picks his way out across the 30, run out by Alameen Murphy. Short of a first down, a pickup of 9.
It's one of the ways that we've seen Demetrius Robertson continue to grow. I referenced when Chad Hansen was out of the lineup, and now that he's been back, they've got another threat the defenses have to game plan for.
Muhammad on the ground. He just does get enough to move the sticks. First down Bears. And Cal without Melquise Stovall, one of those outstanding playmakers on the outside. One of just the litany of injuries that Sonny Dykes and Cal are dealing with.
They've increased the depth of this program. There's no doubt about it. They've just been besieged by injuries.
Dumped off to Kalfani Muhammad. Muhammad chased down by Solomon Thomas at the 37-yard line. And Sonny Dykes telling us yesterday, Anthony, 23 scholarship players will not dress, unavailable today, and 15 potential starters. Demetrius Robertson gets a block from Ray Hudson. Stanford wanted a flag, and Robertson gets a first down, and Stanford's sideline was screaming. They felt there should have been an illegal block on Raymond Hudson.
This is where you can utilize the physical gifts of Demetrius Robertson without asking him to do too much. We got to remember Robertson was a double wing running back in high school, and so his growth as a collegiate wide receiver has been far beyond expectations from an execution standpoint.
Movement up front. Which side jump first?
Full start. Number 62 offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Right guard Dwayne Wallace.
And one of the things that these quick now routes are doing is the potential for setting up plays. I spoke to Jake Spavital about that yesterday. When you have things early in the game, when you're showing the defense one look, now that your receiver core is more experienced, he feels they have the ability to set up other things like double moves now.
A draw for Khalfani Muhammad. And Muhammad gets the yardage back that Cal lost on the false start. Kevin Palma on the tackle as we're playing the big game in the rain. It's been coming down steadily throughout the morning and into afternoon here in Berkeley. It's second down and 9 for California. Davis Webb to Vic Wharton, the Tennessee transfer, spun down immediately. Justin Reed, outstanding play by the sophomore safety, the younger brother of 49ers safety Eric Reed.
Well, one of the things that Stanford's defense has really been great at throughout the season is tackling very well, very efficiently, and pursuit angles to the football, which Chad Hansen on that last touchdown run that he had on the throw and catch, able to outrun their pursuit angles that time.
On third down. Stanford bringing 3. Webb under pressure, gets rid of it, and it's incomplete. Trying to get it to Bug Rivera. Bobby Okereke in coverage for Stanford as it'll be fourth down.
Near midfield, looks like Sonny Dykes is considering, and yes, looks like he's going to go for this 4th and long here. The -48.
Now Cal has punted out of this formation before with Davis Webb. We'll see if that's what they want to do. He does back up, and Davis Webb end over end punts and takes a Cal bounce. Can they get to it? No, it trickles on into the end zone for a touchback. So Davis Webb with a 52-yard punt. Stanford gets the ball. We're tied at 7. Let's take a stroll back down memory lane of the big game, the 1947, the 50th edition of the big game, when Stanford led the 8-1 Bears with less than 3 minutes to play in front of 85,000 at Stanford Stadium until Jackie Jensen took a pitch, tossed it 80 yards to Paul Keckley, and Cal with the comeback 21-18 victory over the Cardinal on the farm.
Jackie!
The only player, by the way, to appear in a Rose Bowl and a World Series, Jackie Jensen. Stanford at the 20, and it's the first carry for Bryce Love. Pushes out to the 25. That's a pretty good nugget there, that Jackie Jensen, the only player to appear in a World Series and play in a Rose Bowl. And there's been so many tight ball games in the history of this rivalry. 52 games in the big game have been decided by a touchdown or less.
Jensen looked like a baseball infielder there too, with the nice kind of jump sling.
Like he's going
there.
deep into the hole. It's short.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Second down 5. And McCaffrey cuts back. Christian McCaffrey with Chris leading the way. McCaffrey into Cal territory.
What's so great about this is as Keller Christ is lead blocking on this cutback for Christian McCaffrey, he knew he didn't need to block Devontae Wilson because Christian McCaffrey is going to beat him towards the edge anyway. Just bypasses the defensive lineman, continues up the field. McCaffrey showing the vision that he's become known for.
Finally tripped up by Devontae Downs. And Stanford at the Cal 39. Bryce Love, the running back. And it's Love. Runs into Devontae Wilson, who's been really active for Cal. Time for our Coors Light Cold Hard Facts. And here is Stanford, 21-1, their last 22, when they have at least one rushing touchdown, including winning each of their last 10. And they already have a rushing touchdown in this one.
That's how they roll. That's the Cardinal under David Shaw. They lead with the run game, set up shot plays in the play-action passing game.
On second down, Christ on the rollout. Open in the slot, and the ball is dropped by Trenton Irwin. Irwin had a lot of real estate, and he just dropped the football.
Something you won't see frequently. You haven't so far in the young career of Trent Irwin. I don't believe you're going to see it much as we move forward. Perhaps weather conditions playing a bit of a factor there, but he's got some of the surest hands we'll see in the Pac-12.
In the immortal words of Carl Spackler, I don't think the heavy stuff's coming down for a little while. It is raining here in Berkeley. 3rd and 7. Keller Christ fires toward the sideline, and it's incomplete. And it's 4th down. Tried to get that one to Donald Stewart, the freshman from Hillside, New Jersey.
Really impressed with what I'm seeing early in this game from Devontae Wilson. He did another nice job around the edge, able to beat A.T. Hall to the corner. Wilson didn't end up getting the sack, but just forced Keller Christ to sort of uncomfortably have to climb the pocket, and it sped up his mechanics.
Interesting decision by David Shaw to punt. 4th and 7 at the Cal 36.
True. I mean, from this field position, you would think it could have been an opportunity to go for 4th down. He's playing field position from here, though. You can pin him down, you get an opportunity to shift the field.
Jake Bailey, end over end. And Cal lets it bounce, and Trenton Irwin downs it at the 5. Stanford surrounded the football, and Cal gets it back deep on their own end. Let's check in with Lewis Johnson.
Well, Roxy, and you don't need me to tell you that this is the big game, right? It is huge, but look across the field right there. That is the Cal student section, and they are all on their feet in the rain as it continues to fall. I have to tell you that early in the game when they scored the first touchdown there, when Chad Hansen had that, sent the explosion of excitement across them. That was his longest career reception, so exciting for him. Looking at the weather radar right now, 54 degrees, it's going to keep raining.
Here's Davis Webb, and it's incomplete. And Cal unable to hold on to it is Jordan Veazey. Was open, slipping out into the flat, and it's 2nd down. And yes, we'll give weather and traffic updates at the top of each hour here.
Weather on the 8s, perhaps.
You'd think, with the weather playing into it, Anthony, as much as Cal throws the ball, is Davis Webb complete. Chad Hansen out to the 15. A lot of times the weather helps the team that's the lesser team. Does that work against Cal, though, today because they throw it so much?
I believe it does. Just the volume of passing from the Cal Bears. You would think overall, yes, it plays into the advantage of Stanford, but even though Stanford is a dominant running team, David Shaw told us they're going to be willing to throw the football, and we have seen that from Stanford's offense early in this game.
Trey Watson runs for a Cal 1st down. Bears at the California 18. Again, it's Trey Watson, and he runs right into the Stanford defense as they were ready for it. Nord Davis, the linebacker, along with Joey Alfieri.
Just a great fit by Davis. Peter Kalambayi able to press the point of attack, knock the line of scrimmage back, and from there Davis just fed right off of his back hip, came downhill and made a great one-on-one tackle.
2nd down. Webb fires. Vic Wharton can't hang on out near midfield. Zach Hoffpower coming over along with Quentin Meeks. There is a flag back at the line of scrimmage. Stanford may have jumped.
Offside. Number 32 defense. Lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
It's on Joey Alfieri, who had his first career interceptions, 2 of them last week at Autzen Stadium.
What Alfieri is more known for is being a very effective pass rusher off the edge. He's a guy who sort of balances out Solomon Thomas with the way he can pressure the quarterback.
2nd down and 3. Cal from the 25. Trey Watson, the motion man. Webb. And it's incomplete. That ball sailed on him, looking for Chad Hansen.
One of the things I found amusing in talking to Jake Spavital, because for me, when you're facing a Stanford pass rush, has done a really good job sacking the quarterback. I usually think move the launch point, run sprints and bootlegs. Davis Webb has 6 rushing touchdowns this season. Spavital said he's not as mobile as he thinks. So they're going to be comfortable getting him, leaving him in the pocket, and running quick passes.
So the numbers are deceiving. That's what you're telling me.
According to Jake Spavitt's all they are.
Webb, and stumbling and falling down, Raymond Hudson, and it's incomplete. Alfieri in coverage, and it's 4th down.
We've seen on the last 2 series here where the rain, not only having ball security become an issue, but just the footing of wide receivers. You need to shorten your steps just that much more to be sure-footed as you're coming out of breaks. And as the ball's coming in for receptions, the eye discipline as a receiver, very key. You need to look the football all the way in to secure the catch before you turn upfield.
Christian McCaffrey is back to return. Dylan Klump with a wobbly punt, and it sails toward the sideline and goes into the Stanford bench area. And the Cardinal have decent field position after the punt from Klump. And let's take a look at the rankings for the conference as the season progressed. Dipped down to 3 in week 2, but then it started coming back. Fell to 2 in the top 25 week 7, but look where it is now. 6, Anthony, 6 teams in the top 25.
Half the conference, and that's what the expectation was coming into the season. We saw around mid-season as conference play began in the Pac-12 and teams sort of started to cannibalize each other, but now down the stretch run, the respect of the nation turning its eyes back towards the Pac-12, especially now that we see some of the other highly ranked teams starting to fall off.
From the Stanford 35, Christian McCaffrey, the running back. And McCaffrey waits for the hole to open. And he gets about 8 yards out across the 40-yard line. Let's take a look at the Wendy's Pac-12 standings. And already today, Oregon winning at Utah, stunning the Utes, one of those ranked teams.
The Utes obviously have the big contest coming up and closing out their season against Colorado, where a lot of folks were thinking that was going to be the South Division Championship game. Colorado in trouble right now as well, facing Washington State.
2nd down 2. Play action. Chris steps up, looking for Michael Rector, and it's incomplete. There is a flag down back in the Cardinal backfield. Michael Mothershed letting us know it's a hold against Stanford.
I believe it was A.T. Hall who, as I referenced, he's been having a hard day trying to block the corner so far. A.T. Hall early in the season began the year as the right tackle. They moved him over to left because he is very mobile, very active. He's great in short space. But one of the ways that he tends to struggle in pass protection is he tends to lean a bit. He's not great against power. You see him get a little bit top heavy, and that sort of forces him to lunge with his upper body and allows the short corner.
2nd down and 12. Chris dumps it off to Love, and Love surrounded. Cal was ready for it. James Looney, the first man there, along with Cameron Saffel for the Golden Bears.
Can't overstate how impressed I am with the swarm tackling that we've seen throughout the first quarter from Cal's defense. This is a defense that came in with the 2nd most missed tackles this season in the Pac-12. This defense missed 119 tackles throughout the season. And while Stanford has proven to be elusive so far in the game today, but bringing population to the football still allows them to be able to corral the ball carriers.
This is a defense that's given up 263 points over the last 5 games. 52.6 points they've surrendered in the last 5. Shovel pass. Christian McCaffrey breaks a tackle. Then Cal is able to bring him down. It's fitting in the big game they pay homage to Lee Grosscup with the shovel pass right there, the former Utah quarterback.
That was a great example of what I was just talking about, because Christian McCaffrey, as he's known to do, eluded 2 or 3 tacklers as he worked his way to the 2nd level of the defense. But the Bears, again, swarming to the football. As long as you can get bodies around McCaffrey to corral him, you have an opportunity to survive that snap.
Jake Bailey to punt. Vic Wharton III, the return man. And he's dropped immediately. Stanford ready to lower the boom on him. And for the Cardinal, outstanding coverage from Brandon Simmons. Let's go to our San Francisco studios and Greg Wolf.
Roxy, thanks. Time for this Valvoline game break. Folsom Field, it has been a back-and-forth battle. Luke Falk finds John Thompson, 7-yard touchdown. Fox third touchdown of the game. Washington State back on top 24-21 late third quarter. Roxy, Anthony, back to you.
All right, Craig, I'm digging those Colorado uniforms today. The silver helmets and silver pants with the black jerseys. And Cal gives it to Billy McCrary III. On the inside pitch is the sophomore from Austin, Texas, a short gain is Mustafa Branch, the linebacker for Stanford, with the stop. Gain of 1, it'll be 2nd and 9.
You see Cal so frequently forcing the defense to run laterally, sideline to sideline, like a tennis match. At some point, they will attack vertically.
Webb, he'll go vertical, and it's incomplete. Tried to get it to Hansen. It was well defended by Quentin Meeks.
It's a secondary where Quentin Meeks is a great playmaker. He's been getting better and better throughout the season with his hands. One of the things that Quentin Meeks tends to do on the outside, when he's in a press position, he drops his hands on the initial part of the route. That allows a free release for the receivers, but he's gotten better at that throughout the year, invading the personal space of wideouts like you need to as a press corner.
The big fullback, Malik McMorris, in the game for Cal on 3rd and 9. Webb on the rollout. Jordan Vesey slides down and makes the catch. And that's a first down out across the 30.
Cal showing the tempo, getting back over the football, but Jake Spavital playing coy a bit as we talked about the mobility. You know, he doesn't look like Lamar Jackson as he's running around there, but you can call moments like this.
Screen to Malik McMorris, and he goes rumbling. McMorris, first down, Cal. 20 yards, his 2nd career catch.
I love it. 5'11". Over 3 bills. Feed him the football. Bodies out in front of Malik McMorris. The Hamburglar working his way into enemy territory.
And into Stanford territory. At the Cardinal 49. Watson into the line and pushes forward. And Malik McMorris getting involved, not just as a blocker.
Aaron Cochran at 350 pounds out in front. He just barely outweighs the fullback from California. Malik McMorris still a walk-on. He's been such an integral part of how they operate offensively right now. He's one of the throwers, a shot-put discus thrower on the Cal track team as well. Walked on last season, even though he had scholarship offers from other universities.
Webb for Hansen, and it's incomplete. Alameen Murphy there for Stanford. And it's 3rd down.
And one of the reasons that they've utilized Malik McMorris so much, not just his physical abilities, but just schematically, when you've got Davis Webb in, a quarterback who's still getting used to your version of the air raid, having a fullback in the lineup more frequently with 20 personnel, 2 backs, no tight ends as frequently as they have, provides him extra protection.
48 seconds left in the opening quarter of the 119th big game, tied at 7. Cal trying to break a 3-game losing streak. Trey Watson out of the backfield. First down, Cal pushed out by Casey Toohill.
On this roster with good reason. Receiving, running, elusiveness, pass protection. He can do it all.
First down, there's a flag down on the play. Looking for Demetrius Robertson, and it's intercepted. A sliding interception by Dallas Lloyd, if it stands, his 4th pick of the year. But Stanford may have had too many men on the field. There is a flag down in the secondary, and it was thrown right at the snap of the football. Now, David Schaub protesting that he felt they should have stood over the ball and given Stanford a chance to sub, but I don't think Cal subs, so therefore you don't have to stand over the ball.
Can't hear the microphone of Michael Mothershed, but it does appear he did call A penalty on the Stanford defense, much to the dismay of David Shaw.
So because Cal did not sub on that last play, the referees don't have to stop the game to allow a substitution. And Casey Toohill, trying to get off the field, did not do it before Cal snapped the football. Raymond Hudson, the motion man, on 1st and 5. Trey Watson straight ahead. He's close to the first down, a bit shy.
Well, Davis Webb understandably liked the matchup he saw outside with Davis Webb, or with Demetrius Roberts, excuse me, on that last pass that was intercepted. He's got to be able to see the safety. Dallas Lloyd plays under control so well as the deep secondary. And
that will take us to the end of the first quarter. Cal on the move in the 119th big game, tied at 7 after 1. The Axe on the line between number 24 Stanford and California. This Pac-12 rivalry football game is brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light and by T-Mobile. Switch to the network built for unlimited data. And by 76. We're on the driver's side. Start of the second quarter of the 119th big game, tied at 7, along with Anthony Herron and Lewis Johnson. Roxy Bernstein with you. And we've got a good game. The big game you expect it to be close. We've got a good game.
No doubt about it. And they told us they like being Cal's offense, the matchup they have with the secondary of Stanford. So talented at wide receiver. We've seen that on display. There's actually been some missed opportunities for the Bears in their passing game, but they've done enough to continue moving the football.
Cal on the move as we start the second quarter. At the Stanford 26, Trey Watson, first down Bears. Cal at the Stanford 22. Davis Webb, a long touchdown pass to Chad Hansen for Cal's score. Keller Christ, a 16-yard touchdown run for Stanford. Malik McMorris, the motion man. Davis Webb on the rollout. Webb, nobody's open. And Webb coming back. And it's Trey Watson the catch. Watson, first and goal Bears.
I like Jake Spavital calling situations where he moves the pocket with Davis Webb. The pass protection from Cal has been good throughout the season, but you don't want to leave a stationary target there, not only for the individual pass rushers of Stanford, but schematically their defense with the situational blitzes they can bring.
5 first downs on this drive for Cal. First and goal at the 8. Trey Watson tripped up by Solomon Thomas. Just 1 yard for Watson as Thomas off the edge. Quick play by the defensive end.
It was interesting last week that Solomon Thomas had to leave the ball game, didn't finish in the second half. But David Shaw assured us he's back to 100%, feeling good this week.
Second and goal.
Chad Hansen at the bottom of the screen. Safety in position to bracket if necessary.
And again, it's Watson. Watson still driving. He's in. Touchdown. The second effort, the power of Trey Watson.
Herculean effort from Trey Watson. Blocked so well at the point of attack. Lead block from McMorris met at the 5-yard line. But Trey Watson would not be denied.
7th career rushing touchdown for Watson, the junior from Corona. Matt Anderson on for the point after. And Anderson nails it. The Bears go 11 plays, 83 yards.
And who would have thought the Cal offense would impose their will on this Stanford D? Trey Watson, hammer, me, nail.
The last time the Cal won the big game, you got to go back to 2009 on the farm. Andrew Luck picked off by Mike Muhammad. And that preserved a win for Jeff Tedford and the California Golden Bears, as Cal with the win against Jim Harbaugh and the Stanford Cardinal at Stanford Stadium back in 2009. And they lead Stanford 14-7 early second quarter. Noah Beto to kick off. And it's a short, high arching kick. And for Stanford, it's Greg Twada. It's pushed out of bounds, shy the 30-yard line. Let's go to our Pac-12 Network studios and Greg Wolf.
All right, thanks. Time for a Gatorade game break. Sefo Lufau. He's going to do it himself. Career-high third rushing touchdown of the afternoon. That one for 11 yards. Colorado leads it 28-24, fourth quarter. Roxy Anthony, back to you.
All right, Greg, a good one there in Boulder. It was a good one at Salt Lake City earlier today on Pac-12 Network, and we have a good one developing here in the 119th big game.
We just told the fans 6 different teams in the Pac-12 ranked coming into today. 3 of them in jeopardy so far of going down to an unranked foe. Well, not to an unranked foe, but 3 in jeopardy of going down.
From the 30-yard line, Bryce Love, the ball carrier. And the patience by Love. And it turns into an 8-yard run. Let's check in with Lewis Johnson and a special guest from past big game.
Absolutely. One of the great moments of this series back in 1982 and the play. You may remember the man with the trombone. That was Gary Terrell, who is right here supporting his Stanford Cardinals. Look, you're standing here all these years later. What do you remember about that big moment in this series?
Well, all the big games up here in Berkeley are exciting ones, today included. But that was my senior year. We had a bowl game on the line. Right. We thought we won it, and then we didn't.
And then you didn't. So being on the field and having all of that happen, and then all of a sudden there's someone coming at you, running over you. I mean, golly, is that a tough memory? How do you describe it?
Well, you know, at the time, I thought we had won, and I thought he was just getting the heck out of there. Right. But he had the ball, and then I was down, and then the cannon went off, and we had lost.
Oh, my gosh. So now the trombone is in the College Football Hall of Fame. Do you still play?
I can, but I haven't. It's much more of a prop anymore these days.
I see. And you've been pretty straightforward about the story right now, but when you discuss this with people, do you ever feel the urge to maybe stretch the story and maybe make it a little better than it is?
You know, I don't know how you can stretch that story.
Gary, great to see you. You're a part of football lore here in this series, and hope you have a great day today, all right?
It's my honor to meet you.
All right, there he is. Without the trombone, but he's still part of the history, guys.
Great stuff, Lewis, and Gary Tyrell, the Bartman-esque, if you will, for Stanford lore?
A kindred spirit for me. I'm a fellow trombone player.
Are you really?
I am. Well, I was. Similar to Gary, I placed the trombone down at a certain point. It became heavy.
They blow the play dead. There's a flag. Not sure how Stanford people feel about Gary Tyrell being on the field here at Memorial Stadium.
57 offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
There is Gary. I'm sure Stanford people are trying to keep him away from the field, make sure he doesn't head out there. For his own safety, of course. But Kevin Moen, I don't think is going to be barreling into him.
Quite a vantage point he gets to watch today's game from. I mean, I would certainly say, if not the top, one of the top plays in the history of college football.
Just take one of the top. It is the top play.
As Boston College fans, it might take issue. Colorado fans may take issue with that as well. There have been some great ones.
The screen to Christian McCaffrey. McCaffrey dancing. First down into Cal territory. What a run by McCaffrey on the dump off from Christ. And Dalton Schultz is slow to get up.
Weather conditions only adding to the slippery nature of Christian McCaffrey. The way he can start and stop on a dime as defenders just slide by. Gary Tyrell loving every second of it.
He's pumped. At the Cal 45. Schultz was able to come off the field under his own power. Christ will keep it. Devontae Downs, the first man there for Cal. It's Chris. Nobody was open. Tried to tuck and run and gets 1 yard.
I like that decision from Keller Christ. You know, he looked out into the flat, thought there may be an opportunity there. It was just really well defended from Cal's defense, but no reason to take a potential risky chance. So he tucked the football, tried to pick up a yard.
Second down 9 with McCaffrey behind Christ. Now he's flanked to his left side. And it's McCaffrey through the line. McCaffrey to the outside. Christian McCaffrey inside the 15-yard line. Finally run down by Ashton Davis.
But it ends up being zone away. Watch A.T. Hall works as the lead blocker for Christian McCaffrey. Nice kick out. And because they got so much movement on the interior with Jesse Burkett, McCaffrey didn't have to belly at all as he followed the lead block of A.T. Hall. Just narrowly, Ashton Davis able to stop him from picking up a touchdown run.
1st and 10 at the Cal 13. Cal up a touchdown, but Stanford looking to tie the game. Again, it's McCaffrey. And he's spun around as he gets to the 10. Tony McCary, the first man there for Cal.
Art Kaufman told us they would certainly have a watchful eye on the personnel coming on and off the field for Stanford's offense. There, Nick Wilson came into the lineup for their jumbo package. So Cal isn't going to overreact when they see jumbo. It's when they see ogre. All the different 300-pound bodies come onto the field for Stanford. It's when you're going to see extra bigs come on for Cal.
McCaffrey, 9 carries, 94 yards. 2nd and 7 at the Cal 10. Christian McCaffrey. Nothing there, and it's McCary for California along with Devontae Wilson.
A great combination of block hitting and penetration. McCary able to play off the cut block, stay square there just long enough to allow Devontae Wilson to help in pursuit. Really well executed there in the interior. Their defensive front has to continue to be able to play with this tempo.
3rd down at the Cal 9. Christ dumps it off to Schultz. Schultz to the goal line. He's in. Touchdown, Stanford. First touchdown of the season for Dalton Schultz, and an extra point for the Cardinal could tie it.
As opposed to the shovel pass, just went with the quick flip to the interior. Keller Crisp showing eye discipline, knowing the entire way he can use the eyes to draw the defense towards the outside where Christian McCaffrey had left the backfield and then come back inside.
And the heady play to use the referee as a pick. Conrad Ukropina. And he nails the extra point, and we are tied in the 119th big game.
One of the reasons Dalton Schultz is maybe my favorite tight end in the Pac-12 conference. He can block in line, but opportunities here, he's got the nimble nature to take advantage.
Let's go inside the integers of the big game. And Stanford has won the last 6. And David Shaw undefeated as the Stanford head coach in the big game. And as we alluded to earlier, 52 of the big games have been decided by a touchdown or less. And the axe first awarded 1933. And the axe on the line here today in Stanford has controlled it the last 6 years. They hope to take it back with them to the farm after the ball game. Cal has other ideas, as we hear from Michael Mothershed.
Kick out of bounds. By rule, the ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down, Cal.
And Michael Mothershed and his crew, by the way, had the honor of working the national championship game last season. And they're in charge of the big game today.
National championship, another big game, just different.
Kalfani Muhammad tripped up. Good pursuit and a good push from Jordan Watkins. And a loss on the play for the Cal senior running back. Loss of 2, back to the 33. Davis Webb to Bug Rivera, and he can't hang on. And the nephew of Ron Rivera trying to go airborne for that one. And Ron Rivera, former Cal great, now the coach of the Carolina Panthers.
Justin Reed came on a blitz from the wide side of the field. Davis Webb did a nice job getting the football out quickly, as we've seen throughout the game. Rivera not able to come up with the back shoulder grab.
3rd down and 12. Davis Webb, the screen set up to Kalfani Muhammad. Dances it outside. Muhammad pushes forward, breaks a tackle into Stanford territory. On 3rd and 12, Cal converts. 23 yards.
Sonny Dykes told us he was looking for more energy, more urgency, more intensity from this football team. Kalfani Muhammad, the track star, not running like a track guy there.
At the Stanford 45. How surprised are you, Anthony, at what we're seeing, that we have a tight ball game?
Not surprised it's tight. I'm surprised at why it's tight.
Kalfani Muhammad breaks a tackle. Another first down as Chris Barrio pushes the pile forward.
The ability that Cal has shown to do enough with the ground attack, keeping the Stanford defense honest. Kalfani Muhammad again getting vertical with the football, not just relying on speed. He's been great at that throughout his career, quickly hitting creases.
At the Cardinal 29. Trey Watson, a big hole. Watson brought down by Solomon Thomas. A gain of 8. Cal's averaging over 5 yards a carry.
All the lateral attacks, the latitude of the defense that we saw earlier in the game. Now the longitude being attacked, both with the vertical run game and the vertical pass.
Webb tipped and knocked down. Peter Kalambai got his hands up there, the senior on the edge.
It's sort of like body blows in a boxing match where you force the defense to honor one area of the field. You see great hands here from Kalambai. But get the defense into the habit of running sideways and then come right at him, punch him right in the nose.
They're down at 2 at the 21. The option, the pitch, Muhammad to the edge. Kalambai runs him down. Terrific play.
This is so difficult to do as an edge defender because Kalambai does enough into the backfield to force the quick pitch, but then shows the speed to turn and run with Kalfani Muhammad to stop him short. That's a phenomenal play from Kalambai.
The field goal unit, a 39-yard kick for Matt Anderson. Try to give Cal the lead. Anderson has made 33 of his last 37. Plenty of leg on this one. No good. Anderson misses. Just pushed it. And Stanford will take over in a tie ball game.
Laces were in. Matt Anderson, one of the top kickers in the Pac-12, pulls the football.
Stanford takes over at their own 22 after Matt Anderson missing a field goal. And Christian McCaffrey up the middle. And he gets near the 30-yard line. Let's go back to the missed field goal, Anthony. And just hooking it was Anderson.
The hold from Dylan Klump was quality because of the weather conditions. One of the things you tend to see is you don't spend a lot of time trying to spin the football when it's this wet and so soggy outside because you don't want the football to squirt away.
On 2nd and 2, McCaffrey waits for a hole to open, gets the first down, and gets leveled. But he gets the first down as Jalen Hawkins, the redshirt freshman who was disqualified last week in the game at Washington State, with the stop.
He's no doubt a thumper. Runs the alley really well. And we catch McCaffrey off balance.
Over 100 yards, Christian McCaffrey. Let me ask you, Anthony, tie ball game. 4th and short, should Cal have gone for that?
From that field position, yes, I would say so, because of who they are.
McCaffrey is bottled up. Devontae Downs and Cam Walker on the tackle for the Golden Bears. Sonny Dykes just trying to get whatever bodies he has ready for this big game. And I've been impressed with the way Cal has responded despite 23 scholarship players not dressed for the big game and 15 potential starters unavailable. Second down and 9. Trouble with the snap. And Christian McCaffrey jumping on the loose football. There is a flag. Thrown at the line of scrimmage near the Stanford sideline.
Illegal snap infraction. Number 73 offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Illegal snap by Jesse Burkett, the junior from St. Augustine, Florida.
One of the things you'll see sometimes, the ball is so soggy, he doesn't even get it up. Jesse Burkett ends up having the football slip out of his hands before he can actually snap it back to Keller Chris. Stanford very lucky they even got the recovery.
So the snap infraction marked off against the Cardinal. So technically that play never happened, so that's why you could not decline the penalty. As I'm sure Sonny Dykes would have liked to, considering Stanford lost yards and Stanford also would have lost the down. But instead, a 5-yard penalty to back it up to 2nd and 14. The give to McCaffrey, and McCaffrey slices through the line, and McCaffrey out to the 38.
That time they pulled David Wright. Wright, one of the more versatile players in the Stanford lineup, all the way from the right tackle position across the formation. It takes such athleticism to get out of a three-point stance as a 300-pounder and then be under control enough to pick up an effective block.
3rd down and 5. Schultz, the tight end, split out right with McCaffrey as Bryce Love is the running back.
So you've got McLovin on the field, Love there, McCaffrey in the slot. Do they utilize it?
Christ throws for Michael Rector, and it's broken up, incomplete. Marlon Franklin. Terrific play by the corner, and it's 4th down. Franklin was questionable after being injured last week at Washington State.
He's the player who's most comfortable in the press position, being as aggressive as he can. Doesn't actually get hands on Michael Rector to impede his progress.
4th punt for Jake Bailey. Vic Wharton back to return. Wharton has some room to run. Wharton tripped up, tried to get to the outside, and was trying to get through, but Sean Martin brought him down. We're tied in the 119th big game. 3:06 to go in the first half. Well, this was earlier today, just next door to us in the home radio booth, as they honored the legendary Joe Starkey. 42 years now as the voice of Cal football. And there he is with that big plaque that hangs in the home radio booth. So congratulations to Joe. He's been an inspiration to me growing up here in the Bay Area. Well-deserved honors. Mike Williams, the Cal athletic director, also there. But congratulations to the legendary Joe Starkey. On the dump off to Trey Watson. Watson breaks a tackle. Watson has a first down. Out across the 40. And Cal's having a lot of success, Ant, with the screens today.
It's been an effective first half with the quick passing game. Now routes and screen passes, keeping Davis Webb out of jeopardy and allowing ball carriers to get the football quickly and run with it.
Too high for Bug Rivera. And it's incomplete, 2nd down. Trying the bubble screen to the receiver. And again, we played this entire first half in a steady rain at Memorial Stadium.
I referenced the stat earlier with Cal's defense, all the tackles they've missed. Stanford's defense has been a defense that's tackled well throughout the season so far, but today it's been iffy, and weather conditions play a factor in that, but Cal's been running hard.
Ray Hudson, the motion man. Webb looking, and he just throws it away. Outstanding coverage by Stanford. No one was open.
The decision coming up here for Sonny Dykes. Take a wide shot, Memorial Stadium. But he referenced situations in games with Davis Webb knowing that the possessions will be few, and he's taking some unnecessary chances at other times. He's got to protect the football here.
On 3rd down, pressure coming. The screen not there. Harrison Phillips chasing after Webb. Webb is going to run. There's a flag down as Webb runs out of bounds near midfield, but this may be a hold against Cal. No, it appears to be against Cal because initially The Cal guys were all motioning, hey, it's on Stanford. And now they're talking it over with David Shaw to see if he wants to accept the penalty with 2:32 left in the half.
Holding, number 15, offense. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Jordan Vesey called for the hold. And it's 4th down, and we'll see if Cal sends the punting unit on, which in all likelihood they will. The offense still out there, and we've seen Davis Webb punt once already today. Now Cal has gone for it on 4th down this year 28 times already. They're 20 for 28 on 4th down. I'd be stunned if they go for it here.
This needs to be a punt. Quick kick, whatever you want to call it. It's not worth the risk to go for 4th down from back here.
Second punt for Webb today. Last time it was a 52-yarder, and this one's going to die inside the Stanford 10, inside the 5. As Bug Rivera downs it at the 5-yard line, and by keeping the offense on the field, Anthony, that neutralizes Christian McCaffrey because Stanford can't get him out there onto the field to return.
Well, one of the memories that's not so pleasant for Sonny Dykes is last season when they kicked the ball to Christian McCaffrey late in the first half in the big game, and one of the top players in college football made them pay with a kick return for a touchdown. It's a mistake he says he does not plan to repeat.
And that changed the whole complexion of the big game last year at Stanford. It was a tight ball game, and that really swung the momentum Stanford's way, and Cal never recovered from it.
It's a great way to neutralize the return ability. Now, the adjustment Stanford could make would be to lose a safety and put Christian McCaffrey back there deep. David Shaw so far saying that's not worth the risk.
The Ogre formation with Nick Wilson, the extra offensive lineman in the game, as this is McCaffrey on the ground. And he's out across the 10 to the 13. See how Stanford decides to play this. They have all 3 timeouts.
While Keller Christ, an inexperienced player, he's been in this system for 4 years now. So for him to now go hurry up should certainly be within his ability.
McCaffrey split out. The give to Love, and Love with a second effort gets a first down for the Cardinal. Brought down by Cameron Walker. Inside a minute 20 left in the half. We're tied at 14. Keller Christ, a touchdown pass and a touchdown run for Stanford. Davis Webb, a touchdown pass to Chad Hansen. Trey Watson, a touchdown run for Cal. Christ on first down. Looking to the outside. Arcega-Whiteside the catch. And he's out of bounds. Shy at midfield as Kahari Vanderbilt ran him out.
It's the least explosive offense in the Pac-12 statistically versus a defense that's given up more 20-plus yard plays than any other defense in the conference.
Second catch for J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. 58 seconds left in the half from the Cardinal 48. Good protection for Christ. Looking deep for Michael Rector. There's a flag. It'll be on Marlo-Shawn Franklin Jr. for interference and give Stanford 15 yards, but there's a flag in the Stanford backfield as well. Could be a huge break for Cal.
The call in the secondary, the flag there on Franklin, certainly seemed like the proper call. And Marlo-Shawn Franklin knew it.
There are fouls on both teams. Holding, number 75 offense. Pass interference, number 18 defense. Those fouls offset, still first down.
And the hold is on A.T. Hall.
There for Cal, you're just trying to survive the last 52 seconds of this half without giving up a touchdown.
Cal had a chance for the lead, but Matt Anderson missed a field goal. Christian McCaffrey, no, it's kept by Christ. And Keller Christ chopped down as he reaches the Cal 40-yard line by Josh Drayton, who lost his helmet in the process and has to come out for one play.
And the Bears really don't have enough defensive backs to get away with people losing their helmets, having to rotate other bodies in. Drayton, the true freshman, has been pretty good on the deep ball. as he's played this season. Limited action.
Timeout Stanford with 45 seconds left in the half. And the scholarship numbers, which Sonny Dykes alluded to us yesterday, they have 16 scholarship defensive backs. 12 of them are unavailable today. And that goes to show you the status of Cal's secondary, which is not a good thing going up against Stanford. Of course, McCaffrey was the runner-up last year. Don't blame me. I voted for Christian McCaffrey.
All right, as long as you got your job done.
Keller Christ, deep shot, looking for Irwin. And he overshoots Trenton Irwin. Is Kahari Vanderbilt there for Cal. Second down.
I like that call. I'm surprised it wasn't a safety in position. Kahari Vanderbilt has been great at that throughout the year, as far as just making sure he's in position deep in the secondary.
Second down 10. Here's Christ. Steps up, dumps it off too low for McCaffrey, and it's incomplete. And it's third down.
They're just doing enough with the pass rush. It's not quite as ferocious as it was in the first quarter, but here on this series, they're doing enough just to keep Keller Christ off balance. James Looney was able to eventually get off of the blocker on the interior and chase Christ away from the spot.
And if Cal can get a stop here and keep it tied at halftime, it'd be a huge momentum boost for them, and they'll get the ball to start the second half. On third down, Christ to the outside. It's caught. First down, Stanford. Arcega-Whiteside, another catch, and he's still down. Sophomore from Inman, South Carolina, with the catch, which is a first down on 3rd and 10.
Arcega-Whiteside comes unmolested off the ball, breaks it out just beyond the sticks. Good physical tackle from Kahari Vanderbilt.
J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, his third catch today. It's been a real playmaker for this Stanford team. It's emerged as all 5 of his touchdowns have come in the last 8 games. And coming into today, Arcega-Whiteside had 16 catches on the year and 5 of them for touchdowns.
And over the last couple of ball games, we've seen Arcega-Whiteside become more than just a red zone target. You know, as a young football player, that's really how he's been utilized throughout the season, because he's got the size, the frame, the body control to make it happen once you get inside the 20. But how last couple of weeks they've used him on some deeper passes.
And he burst onto the scene with a huge splash and a touchdown game-winning catch against UCLA at the Rose Bowl early in the year. 25 seconds left. 1st and 10 Cardinal at the Cal 28. They have a reliable kicker in Conrad Ukropina. Keller Christ, good protection. Dumps it off for McCaffrey, and Devontae Downs trips him up as McCaffrey is able to get out of bounds at the Cal 23. There's 11 seconds remaining in the half.
There are one-on-one opportunities available at the 3rd level right now for Keller Christ. Protection was sound. He can give Trent Irwin an opportunity here. He can give Michael Rector or even Greg Tubuada an opportunity if Art Kaufman continues to allow these one-on-one matchups.
Christ for the end zone. Incomplete. Tried to get it to Trenton Irwin, who's covered by Ashton Davis, as Irwin has the distinction of having the most receptions in the conference without a touchdown this season.
And it's moments like this that are where we need to see more development, I would say, from Keller Christ. To find the opportunity to take the shot, to pull the trigger there. Cal actually did go to more of a too-deep look, and so that's why it was a tougher fit for the football. But there were previous plays where if he cuts it loose one-on-one, maybe you got a shot for 6.
This will be a 40-yard attempt for Conrad Ukropina, 15 of 19 this season, as long as 52. Ukropina, plenty of leg, and it is good, and Stanford has the lead at halftime. A 40-yard field goal by Conrad Ukropina, and it's a 17-14 lead for number 24 Stanford, as Cal misses the field goal and Stanford converts, and they take the lead into halftime here at Memorial Stadium in the 119th big game.
Extremely competitive first half. The tenacity that we've seen from Cal, I've been very impressed with. But when it comes down to it, Stanford has the lead. That's position David Shaw wants his football team to be in.
So the Cardinal have the lead. It's been a back and forth, a tight first half. You'd expect that in a rivalry game. And let's check in with Lewis Johnson with David Shaw.
Well, Coach, what does that field goal do for you here to go in the half?
Well, it's big to go into the halftime with the lead. Bottom line, though, we got to play much better on defense. We got to tackle. You know, we're there a lot. We just got to tackle it to get those things. Some good athletes over there. We got to get them on the ground offensively. A couple missed throws, a couple drop balls, but that's going to happen in weather like this. We got to finish the second half.
So many games in this series have come down to either a touchdown or less. What does the weather do in terms of trying to really even this thing out, and what's going to make the difference?
The difference is the team that is not affected by the weather, and we got to go out and execute. We got to throw, we got to catch, we got to protect, and we got to try to run the ball and be great on defense. We got to stop them and tackle them.
All right, David, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Roxy?
All right, Lewis, is Stanford dominating the time of possession, which you'd expect because of Cal's hurry-up offense, but it's a tight ball game in Berkeley. 17-14, the Cardinal with the lead at the half. It'll be Cal getting the second half kickoff. Coming up, it's our State Farm halftime report as we send it to Greg Wolf in our Pac-12 Network studios.
We live in a complex world,
with new challenges always confronting us.
how to improve understanding of one another,
how to care for our planet,
how to foster opportunity for everyone,
how to cultivate our humanity in an age of technology.
These are opportunities.
Opportunities to bring people together in the search for new discoveries,
New solutions.
New hope.
knowledge at work in the world.
Here is the Can-Am game summary. And Christian McCaffrey, 124 yards already on the ground. Chad Hansen, a long touchdown catch for Cal. And the average yards per play just about even, and so is our score with Stanford ahead 17-14. And here's the Cal passing game in action.
When I look at how they've operated throwing the football, I love the fact they've gotten the ball out of the hands of their quarterback quickly, over and over again. We saw him flip it outside to Demetrius Robertson. Here we're going to see Davis Webb on a levels concept. Again, just a now route, allowing him to quickly get the ball into his hands and advance the rock on the oncoming defense. As Stanford's pass rush starts to get home, utilize the screen game. Malik McMorris, he's got all kinds of big uglies out in front of him. Blockers in space. McMorris at 310 pounds, able to rumble his way for the first down. That, to me, needs to continue being the formula for California's offense. How do they continue to move the football? Continue to keep the Stanford defense off balance. Along
with Anthony Herron and Lewis Johnson, Roxy Bernstein with you. The 119th big game, 17-14 Stanford. The Cardinal have been up and down in the first half. David Shaw wasn't necessarily very pleased with his first half performance. But Cal, how are they hanging in this game?
They're doing enough on defense. You know, it's not like they're shutting down Stanford's offense. They're doing enough, though. They're swarming to the football, playing with what I like to call an extra heartbeat, just surviving for another play. As long as you can hang in, going blow for blow with this tough, rugged Stanford football team on each side of the ball, then you give yourself a chance. And that's what I don't think we've seen as much the last couple of weeks from Cal. They haven't played with that extra heartbeat, but on each side of the ball in the big game today, they have.
Stanford will kick off as we begin the third quarter as the Cardinal and Conrad Ukropina making a field goal to end the first half to give Stanford their first lead of the day. And Cal will get the second half kickoff. Kalfani Muhammad and Trey Watson are back to return.
Art Kaufman defensively for Cal. He's gotten away with a lot of these one-on-one matchups in his secondary. We'll see if Keller Christ and the Stanford receivers can start to make him pay for that.
Kalfani Muhammad takes the kick from Jake Bailey and goes to a knee. It'll come out to the 25 as we check in with Lewis Johnson.
Well, Roxy, Sonny did mention those 125 rushing yards by Christian McCaffrey and said we have to keep him in check and just not allow him or that offense to have some of those big explosive plays that we've seen all season. He really wants his defense to get Stanford off the field on third down, very important. As for the Cal offense, he says that they are got to be better converting third down. Right now they're 4 for 8. He wants to see them better. And of course, when Cal gets to the red zone, they've got to score. Roxy, the temperature continues to hold at 54 degrees as the rain continues to fall.
Weather on the 8s, Lewis Johnson.
Demetrius Robertson the catch on first down as Davis Webb slings it out. How important is this drive right here for Cal?
Well, it can establish a tempo. It can establish your momentum coming out of the locker room in the second half. A team where belief has maybe waned a bit as younger players are now on the field. This can be big for their offense.
Bug Rivera with the catch, and that's out across the 40-yard line. As Cal going with an empty set and 5 receivers.
It's now a different look from what they showed in the first half. We saw tempo. We didn't see as much empty set. So now 3-by-2 formation. We're seeing them start to march the ball.
2nd down and 2. Davis Webb over 200 yards passing. Again, the wide receiver screen. It's Demetrius Robertson upended. Has another first down. And the freshman having an impact in his first big game.
And the phrase for this is take your profit. When the corners on the outside continue to give you cushion, then look outside, throw the now route, and allow them to move.
Nobody looking for the screen. There's some confusion among the Cal receivers. Hanson, Vesey, and Jordan Duncan were all out there, and nobody was looking for the football.
No, somebody's got to be that guy. Chad Hanson advanced up the field. He was ready to block. It's usually one of the interior receivers more often than not who should step back.
Here is Bug Rivera into Stanford territory, a pickup of 5. And it's 3rd down. Cal on the move here in the second half as we start the 3rd quarter. And Cal, the leaders in the Pac-12 in total offense at close to 520 yards per game.
Now we do see them pressing across the board, making sure that if you're going to get to the sticks, it's going to cost you.
Chad Hanson can't handle it, went through his hands. And it's 4th down. And how do you handle this if you're Sonny Dykes?
I think go. They came into this game going for more 4th downs than any other team in the Pac-12 conference. This is a scenario where you're already in plus territory. It's 4th and medium. It's a good call here by Sonny Dykes.
4th and 5 at the Stanford 46.
Now they've got McMorris in the backfield helping with protections. Stanford likes to blitz in these situations.
Looks like Webb will back up and punt. And he does. Cal's been effective with this so far today. And another one will die inside the 10 from Davis Webb. And Cal pins Stanford back. The Cardinal get the ball, and they lead it by 3. (17-14), Stanford leading Cal, the 119th big game at Memorial Stadium in Berkeley. Cardinal with the ball at their own 8-yard line. After Davis Webb hunting, pinning Stanford back. Christian McCaffrey, his first carry of the second half, and he's brought down after a short gain. Let's go back, Anthony, to Sonny Dykes' decision to punt. You thought they should have gone for it.
I did. You know, if it were Stanford versus Oregon State or Stanford versus UCLA, coaches who were more frequently, you know, choosy with when they go for certain 4th downs, then I'd say, yeah, play field position. I think now we saw a momentum type of drive coming out of the locker room. Sonny Dykes at some point needs to get back into his personality when you're in plus territory. Go for a 4th down when you've got a good drive going.
The Yoger formation with Nick Wilson as an extra offensive lineman. Christian McCaffrey. He's gone. There he goes. Christian McCaffrey through the line. He'll take it to the house, 90 yards. Touchdown, Stanford.
It's part of the reason why, with the point I was just making, because you haven't been able to shut down the run attack of the Stanford Cardinal. And so as we spin this game forward and we look at how Cal will be able to maintain some momentum, seize opportunities, they've got to find ways to do that. And part of their mentality in doing it is going for 4th downs, putting their tempo, their pressure on the opponent.
Conrad Ukrapina for the extra point. He's made 98 in a row. And make it 99 as Christian McCaffrey breaks it open with a 90-yard run.
The vision of Christian McCaffrey is a huge part of what makes him special. But then when you get the Wildcat out in space, it's a house call.
Here are the Taco Bell in-game leaders as Davis Webb touchdown pass, and Christian McCaffrey just going over the 200-yard mark early in the third quarter with a 90-yard touchdown run and a long touchdown catch for Chad Hansen. And Stanford with a 10-point lead. They've scored 17 straight points after Cal had a 14-7 lead as Jake Bailey sends it through the back of the end zone. And here is the 76 fueled moment.
It was fueled by the blocking at the point of attack from those guys with the raw thighs, that Stanford offensive line, and then the cutback ability of Christian McCaffrey for 90 yards.
McCaffrey's longest run of the season, the Pac-12 rushing leader. He's averaging nearly 13 yards per carry so far today as Davis Webb on first down continues the short passing game to Bug Rivera.
I found it interesting in talking to Sonny Dykes where he mentioned that Stanford's offense, the way they can control the football and keep the clock churning, can limit possessions, especially once you get into the second half. I'm sure he reminded his quarterback Davis Webb.
And that ball's tipped and nearly intercepted. Mike Tyler, the linebacker, got his hands on it. The senior from Brecksville, Ohio.
And protect the football is only part of it. You know, it's a very broad term, but not feeling too antsy for Davis Webb about throwing it into traffic, about taking risks that aren't necessary yet at this point in the game because you're thinking your drives are going to be limited.
That run for McCaffrey also the longest of his career. On third down, Webb and Raymond Hudson with a catch, and it's a first down. So Cal able to get just enough to move the sticks out to the 35.
Important conversion. Hudson did a nice job, very patient off the line, got just beyond the sticks. Nice timing from Davis Webb, accurate ball.
Webb looking for Bug Rivera, who adjusts and comes back for the ball and makes a diving catch in front of Ben Edwards and a gain of 6.
It was a really nice adjustment in these conditions, especially by Rivera. Watch him again, going back shoulder all the way down to the ground to cradle it.
Second down and 4. Three-man front for the Cardinal. The first running play for Cal the second half, and it's Kalfani Muhammad running for a first down and runs into Nor Davis.
This is a good pre-snap check from Webb. Muhammad, knowing where the first down marker is, does a nice job. Again, getting vertical.
Cal doing some shifting here as they had spread out Stephen Moore, the tackle, but he now moves back inside. Some confusion for Cal, but it appears now they're on the same page. Webb, good protection, looking for Demetrius Robertson. Tried to come back for it, it's incomplete. Ben Edwards hustling back for Stanford as Robertson tried to come back for the underthrown ball.
It's almost like the rain knocked it down, because initially when it left the hands of Davis Webb, it looked like it was going to hit Demetrius Robertson in stride. Cal ran that mesh concept that they love to run in the air raid. Robertson ended up breaking and bursting towards the third level. Missed opportunity again for the Bears.
Second down and 10. It's Kalfani Muhammad, and there's nowhere for him to go. Right into the Stanford defense. Joey Alfieri there along with Nor Davis for the Cardinal as Harrison Phillips gets up from the bottom of the pile as well. And these are situations Sonny Dykes wanted to avoid. Anthony, third and long.
This pass rush from Stanford, no sacks yet in today's game.
Screen for Muhammad. Muhammad looking for a block. Muhammad down the sideline. Inside the Stanford 25. Ben Edwards tripped him up. And another huge third down pickup for Cal on the screen.
How do you feel about the word ginormous, Roxy? I'm a fan of it because it suits this moment. That conversion not only moves the chains, keeps Cal's defense off the field. Momentum can be a splashy thing when you gain it at the right time.
29 yards to number 29. From the Cardinal 25. And Webb just misfires. Terrible pass looking for Jack Austin.
Whatever adjustments need to be made by Davis Webb, they've got to happen. And that's a route where normally you don't get the laces of the ball before you throw it out there. He maybe needs to take an extra moment to get the laces to ensure the pass accurately.
Here's Kalfani Muhammad, and he's pinned back behind the line. Dylan Jackson there along with Solomon Thomas for the Cardinal, who were all over that one. And it's third down.
It's part of the careful nature that conversions may take here in the second half, as the weather has just been unrelenting for Davis Webb. Maybe just a smidge of a delay to make sure he's got the football grasped properly.
It has been raining the entire day. Webb under pressure, and it's almost intercepted by Nord Davis. Joey Alfieri the pressure, and Davis Webb nearly threw it to Stanford.
Those are the opportunities he can't afford to take. You're running backwards. He just floats the football into no man's land. There were two different Cardinal defenders in position to potentially lay out and come up with an INT.
Matt Anderson, who missed earlier. This is a 43-yarder straight on. The junior from Danville. Anderson, and this one is good, and Cal climbs back within a touchdown. 24-17, the Cardinal on top, third quarter of the big game. Cal climbs back within a touchdown of Stanford, and a critical sequence there for Cal to get some points.
Davis Webb did a nice job. He was 4 out of 8 on that drive. A couple of decisions that I didn't love, but overall the response from Cal's offense after a 90-yard touchdown run by Christian McCaffrey that at some points in this season seemed like something that could have been backbreaking for their team. But it's huge for them. Maybe they didn't come up with a touchdown, but to be able to respond, putting points on the board, kicking a field goal.
McCaffrey and Love, the return man. As we'll see if Noah Beto kicks. They have not kicked to McCaffrey as of yet today, and it appears they will stay away from him one more time. It's Dalton Schultz, and the Stanford tight end brought down at the 39-yard line. Let's send it down to Lewis Johnson.
Well, Roxy, I have Andy Keaton, the chairman of the UC Rally Committee, who's got a big responsibility toward the end of the fourth quarter. There is going to be some high drama right here when the face-off happens, and you are going to be out here with your guys, and then Stanford's going to bring the Axe back out here. How does all this work?
All right, so essentially, we just have a stare down between the two groups. So we have 13 of the Rally Committee, 13 of the Axe Committee. We just stare at each other, get that intensity going between the two schools. It's pretty fun.
So even if this game is tight and you're not quite sure what's happening, as you guys are staring at each other, the stare down, are you able to take a peek to see what's happening on the field?
I mean, you might be able to take a little glance over, but try to keep that eye contact the whole time. 2009, Andrew Luck threw that pick at the end of the game. No one saw it from us.
You remember that, huh?
Yeah, I saw it on TV. I wasn't on the stare down for that one.
All right, it's been 6 years that Stanford has held the Axe. What would it mean for you guys to go through the stare down here at the end of the fourth quarter, last 2 minutes, and have them have to give you the Axe back?
I mean, it mean a lot. We've been waiting a long time here at Berkeley. The case has been empty for a while. We really want it back. It's been a long time. It's going to be good.
All right, Andy, get your troops together. We'll be watching, Roxy, the last 2 minutes of the game, the stare down, right here. High drama. We'll have it. Back up to you.
You'll be right there in the middle of it, won't you, Lewis?
Right in the middle of it. You watch. Referee.
Christian McCaffrey takes the pitch, and McCaffrey into Cal territory. Another Stanford first down as Jordan Konashik tripped him up.
There are things that are just innate about the way he runs the rock. The little hop back that allows the offensive blocks to set up, and then the burst forward. Being slow to the hole, fast through the hole.
McCaffrey gets a breather. 18 carries, 219 yards. Or rather, 19 now for 232 for McCaffrey, who's averaging over 12 yards a carry. Nick Wilson, the Ogre, in motion. The pitch. Bryce Love cuts it back in. And the second effort gets him inside the 45 as Jordan Konashik, the first man there. And here, look at this. Lewis wants a part of this stare down.
Is this the mannequin challenge, or is, yeah, I guess it is the stare down. Okay, all right. Difficult to tell the difference between the two at times. Maybe the mannequin challenge was born from the big game stare down.
I had to warm him
You
up.
might be onto something.
I had to test him out to see if he was ready.
I like it.
You can't perform unless you have a good warm-up. I get it.
That's it. I think he's ready.
2nd and 7. Keller Christ. And it's a low throw, incomplete. Tried to get it to Trenton Irwin. 3rd down for the Cardinal. This right here is a huge play for the Cal defense.
It is. And for Stanford's offense to at least come out, if you don't convert this 3rd down, see if you can pin them down. You know, there's no need right now up by a touchdown for Keller Christ to take a big chance unless he reads a strike play opportunity. Aside from that, we've seen throughout the game so far safe play calling.
3 receivers for Chris with McCaffrey in the backfield. And it's McCaffrey breaking tackles. McCaffrey 1st down. What a run by Christian McCaffrey.
There's no way this should have been a 1st down. It's just impeccable how you see tacklers slide off of Christian McCaffrey, and then when they have him squared up, he finds a way to continually avoid solid contact. And one of the ways he's grown as a ball carrier that goes so unappreciated is the power, both in the upper body and most certainly in the thighs.
6-foot junior, 200 pounds from Castle Rock, Colorado. Nick Wilson, another offensive lineman, in again. McCaffrey, stutter step. And he's brought down on the play, and a new career high in rushing yards for Christian McCaffrey. And we're just past the midpoint point of the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, he's not done. The subtle hesitation moves are undiscernible to the eye of a lot of the viewers at home, but when you watch it, especially when you can't catch the Wildcat in super slow-mo, it shows you how the lanes that he's finding, some of these crevices in the defense are so minute, but the way he times it up allows the angle to present itself.
248 yards and counting for McCaffrey, who takes another handoff. And McCaffrey bottled up, shy of the 1st down. It'll be 3rd and 1. Devontae Downs, Cam Walker, along with Jacob Anderson for Cal on the stop.
I'm just happy that more of the nation, more of the football world is appreciating the full scope of what Christian McCaffrey is as a ball carrier, because there were a lot of folks throughout the season last year who hadn't watched this amazing playmaker, who were just assuming there were trick plays involved and he's an outside runner, things that really don't grasp all that he is as a football player.
The jumbo look on 3rd and 1. McCaffrey met at the line, still driving forward. It's close, should have enough.
Movement at the point of attack, outstanding job by David Bright. McCaffrey met before he actually is beyond the sticks, with just sensational effort, continuing to drive the lower body through the oncoming tackler, almost in a martial arts sort of manner, where you see him finding that outside third, that outer half of a tackler, and then not just running into contact, but running through it.
He was a bit banged up mid-season, missed the Notre Dame game, and is rounded back into form. And a career best here in the big game. Play action. Schultz slips out, and it's incomplete, too high as Jacob Anderson coming over. Schultz was open, and Christ waited too long.
He did. This is the pulling the trigger that, to me, continues to be part of the growth pattern of Keller Christ. Because this outside release by Trenton Irwin, there's an opportunity right there to deliver the football, to throw it up as Irwin turns back to address the football. You referenced Dalton Schultz. There were 3 different receivers who were one-on-one with the secondary of the Cal Bears. The risk that Art Kaufman is taking so far paying off.
2nd down. Bryce Love, the running back. Love takes the pitch. Love through the line, and Bryce Love gets down to the 15, a pickup of 7. Devontae Downs, the tackle.
Where the risk, as I referenced, Art Kaufman taking and leaving so many receivers from Stanford one-on-one, it pays off because they haven't been made to pay for it with a strike pass. But if you can't shut down the run, then it doesn't end up mattering.
Cameron Scarlett now in at running back as both Love and McCaffrey are on the sideline. On 3rd and 3. And it's Chris keeping it, trying to get to the outside. Chris fighting forward, dragging Jacob Anderson with him. And it's a first down for the Cardinal.
It's impressive because Greg Tublata was the lead blocker, sealed the edge, ran through the outside shoulder. And you see the effort of Keller Christ working his way towards the sticks.
McCaffrey back in. And here he is, McCaffrey, touchdown! The cutback, and Christian McCaffrey, his second touchdown today.
The ability of the Stanford offensive line to stick and stay on their blocks. You cut down the backside on the outside zone. That's where the cutback lane presents itself. Christian McCaffrey knows that the entire way.
Stanford goes 12 plays, 61 yards, and the 11-yard touchdown run by Christian McCaffrey. Now his 11 touchdown runs on the year. 263 yards today for McCaffrey as Conrad Ukropina the extra point, and Stanford up 2 touchdowns.
The raw thighs versus the high pockets. Stanford offensive line moving defenders against their will. Advantage raw thighs, the big game on the Pac-12 network.
Christian McCaffrey, here's what he's done the last 4 games, and a big game record, 263 yards, a career high for Christian McCaffrey, who's demolishing the big game record of Joe Ingber for rushing yards in a big game, which was set in 2002.
I'd venture to say he's not done yet, Roxy.
Here's Trey Watson from the 5. On the return, Watson. And he brings it out across the 25-yard line as we send it into our Pac-12 Network studios and Greg Wolf.
Okay, thanks. Time for this Valvoline game break. We go to Tuscaloosa, #1 Alabama, trailing Chattanooga 3-0. And then Jalen Hurts airs it out to Calvin Ridley, 47-yard score. They've since added another touchdown. Bama leads at 14-3 second quarter. Roxy, Anthony, back to you.
Yeah, Greg, you knew that one wouldn't last long.
Tied, we're down 3-0, huh? High drama.
Pass out to Jordan Duncan, and the redshirt freshman from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. With his first reception of the day, Ben Edwards on the tackle, and Duncan was well schooled in high school. You know who his offensive coordinator was for a couple of years? A guy by the name of Brett Favre.
Ah, yes.
At Oak Grove High School in Hattiesburg. 2nd and 1. This is Chad Hansen on the catch and wrestled out of bounds. First down, Cal. Short gain, but just enough for Davis Webb and the Bears to move the sticks.
Certainly haven't seen much from Chad Hansen. It's a big 70-yard catch and run.
He's been bothered by an ankle issue, which was injured some time back against Oregon State. Bug Rivera too high. Looking for the wheel route. Peter Kalambayi in coverage.
I still don't think it's a time yet where Cal's offense needs to completely abandon the run, and they didn't on the previous series. Find the light box, allow Khalfani Muhammad, Trey Watson to still make the defense honor the interior run game.
On 2nd down, here's the drop play to Muhammad trying to get to the outside. And Muhammad brought down by Mustafa Branch. Right across the 40 to bring up a manageable 3rd down, but it seemed like he slowed down. If he kept going to the edge, he might have been able to get enough for a first down.
That's one of the places that, while the sheer speed of Khalfani Muhammad, very impressive, the consistency of his vision, you know, by comparison to a gifted ball carrier like Christian McCaffrey, that shows part of the difference.
Chad Hansen out to the right side as Webb looking for Hudson, and he makes the catch in midfield. First down, California. Justin Reed, the tackle.
It's a good, sure grab. We're seeing it again from Ray Hudson. He's been one of the chain movers in the second half. And by my estimation, now that they're at midfield, Cal's on the 50-yard line, to me, this is 4-down territory from here on out.
Trey Watson. And Watson picks his way. First down inside the 40-yard line. Dylan Jackson hopped on his back to bring him down, and a Stanford player slow to get up. And that's Solomon Thomas. And he got dinged up last week against Oregon. And David Shaw telling us he's good to go, no worries. He could have gone back into the game last week, but because the score was so lopsided, Stanford decided to hold him out.
He wanted so badly to get back into the game. He was hopping around on the sideline. He met with the trainers. He was pushing, trying to get his way back in. David Shaw decided it wasn't worth it last week. This is a young athlete who I've been following him since he was coming out of high school. Played in the U.S. Army All-American Bowl. They had an on-field challenge during Army Bowl week where Solomon Thomas and some of the other All-American high school players from around the country did an obstacle course, and Thomas was able to outdo all of them, flipping tires and pushing tractors and all types of things.
Cal with a first down to the Stanford 37. Play action from Webb. Webb for Chad Hansen trying to adjust, and it's incomplete.
Dallas Lloyd just always seems to find himself in position to help. That's what makes this whole shot difficult. And while Chad Hansen maybe had an opportunity to get beyond the corner, the fact that the safety was coming over the top, that's what forced Davis Webb to go back shoulder with it instead.
Second down and 10. Webb on the rollout. Jordan Vesey's open, and he slides and makes the catch inside the 20. And Davis Webb is fired up after that one.
He should be. I was fired up looking at it. There was precision to this throw. And now you see some tempo coming from Cal. That was very impressive.
Cal at the 17. Bubble screen to Bug Rivera. And Rivera down to the 10. Quentin Meeks on the tackle.
Adjusting the launch point back to the previous play. See Davis Webb on the roll. He sees where he wants to throw it. Look at all the white jerseys surrounding Jordan Vesey. Davis Webb able to fit it in.
Second down and 3. Minute 20 left, third quarter, and Cal needs a touchdown. Webb over 300 yards passing.
Addison Ohms directing traffic pre-snap.
Webb too far out in front of Rivera.
Stanford's pass rush, the second to Pac-12 in sacks coming in. Part of the way they do it is finding situational blitzing. The defensive coordinator, Lance Anderson, he's not frivolous with the way he brings additional rushes into the backfield. It's usually third and medium to third and long where he likes to do it. Here in the red zone, wouldn't surprise me if we see a fifth rusher come.
So Cal going with a big package, both Malik McMorris and J.D. Hennett in the game. It's Webb to Morris again. And the second catch for the big man. First and goal. He came in today with one career catch. He has 2 now in the big game.
It's understandable why this former All-American defensive tackle, as a high schooler, had 4 rushing touchdowns his senior year. He had scholarship offers he turned down to be a Cal Bear.
First and goal from the 4. Webb for Hansen. And there's a flag. 2 flags on the play. One in the Cal backfield, the other in the end zone. The officials will sort this out. Michael Mothershed.
There's no foul for a defensive hold. However, holding number 64 offense. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Interesting. They pick up the flag on holding against Stanford, and it's Stephen Moore called for holding on the offense.
It did appear to me in live action that maybe Quentin Meeks was hold, but actually no, that's a really good pickup of that flag. That's a nice no call. And there in the end, Stephen Moore just reaches out and grabs the oncoming rusher, Mustafa Branch. That's a good job. Quentin Meeks was not the one holding. He was being warded off by Chad Hansen.
First and goal from the 14. Ray Watson, the running back, with Malik McMorris. And it's Watson on the carry. And Watson inside the 10, run out of bounds by Harrison Phillips.
Well done by Watson, running through contact. Jordan Watkins from the interior of Stanford's defense did a nice job fighting off the block, just couldn't bring down Watson in the backfield.
Second and goal from the 8 after a pickup of 6. 13th play of this drive for California. Watson on the draw. Touchdown, Bears. Trey Watson, his second score today. And Cal has trimmed it to a one-score game.
The physical abilities of Davis Webb, only part of the equation, the mental ability to check to run when you see the depth of the box and exploit the bubble in the defense.
Watson, who had 2 rushing touchdowns this season prior to today, with a pair, and caps off a 75-yard drive, and Matt Anderson nails the extra point. And Stanford now up a touchdown as it's 31-24 Cardinal. 25 seconds to go in the third quarter, and a terrific drive for California.
Watch the interior of the Bears offensive line go to work. There's Addison Holmes getting up to the second level, getting a piece of Mustafa Branch. And just that quick shot on the linebacker makes him react just a hair late. The reads that you use as a linebacker, your eyes are going through the blocking surface into the backfield of the ball carrier. So the first read is seeing that center come up on you. Once you get there, you're initially reacting into the block. As the blocker gets to you, then the running back, in this case Trey Watson, is reacting off of where the crease is.
Later tonight, Mike Yam, Lincoln Kennedy, and Nigel Burton recap network. Stanford was won 3 straight coming in. Cal trying to snap a 3-game slide. The Cardinal have won 6 big games in a row, as first Jim Harbaugh, now David Shaw, and Stanford has asserted themselves in this rivalry lately after Jeff Tedford had a terrific run, and Cal dominated the series for a little bit.
That Stanford axe that Lewis Johnson told us about earlier debuted at a baseball game back in 1899.
Short kick from Noah Beto. And Greg Tabuada brought down near the 30-yard line, and it's been the Christian McCaffrey show today for the Cardinal.
As expected, the offensive line of the Stanford Cardinal been doing their job. See Keller Chris out in front of McCaffrey. One of the most sensational playmakers in college football history. The physical tools, only part of what makes the dimensions that you bring to the football game so impressive. Because the patience he shows to get to the hole, and then the strike opportunities with the legs of the Wildcat. The knowledge he has in the backfield.
From the 31, the ogre in the game, Nick Wilson. McCaffrey. And he's brought down after a gain of 4 at the 35-yard line by Cameron Walker, and that should take us to the end of the third quarter. So McCaffrey now 267 yards, a career best, and we have 1 quarter to go in the 119th big game. 52 of these big games have been decided by a touchdown or less. We could be headed in that direction. Welcome to Memorial Stadium in Berkeley, and welcome to the 119th big game. Hansen into Stanford territory. Touchdown! Stanford responds. Touchdown Cardinal.
When you get the Wildcat out in space, there's a house call.
It's McCaffrey. Touchdown! His second touchdown today. The big game, you expect it to be close. We've got a good game. And we have a good game as we head to the fourth quarter of the 119th big game. Along with Anthony Herron and Lewis Johnson, our terrific Pac-12 network crew, braving the rain here in Berkeley today. 31-24 Cardinal, and Stanford with a 2nd down 6 at their own 35. Bryce Love at running back. Keller Chris to the outside, and it's Christian McCaffrey who's met at the line and moved backward by Kahari Vanderbilt. A loss on the play.
Vanderbilt's been the glue for this secondary throughout the season, the most consistent member that's been able to stay on the field amidst all the injuries.
Leading tackler on this Cal team, senior from San Jose, 7th in the Pac-12 in stops this season. Third down for Stanford.
Will Keller Christ pull the trigger on a one-on-one opportunity?
Christ from the pocket. He throws down the sideline. Arcega-Whiteside. Tripped up inside the 10. But a huge completion from Keller Christ to J.J. Arcega-Whiteside.
Arcega-Whiteside has become more than a red zone threat. This is the second week in a row, the outside release of the freshman. 6'3", 220-pounder, nearly going the distance. You see Franklin just able to clip the heel, stopping Arcega-Whiteside short.
First and goal at the 7 as he juggled it but still was able to hang on. Arcega-Whiteside. Christian McCaffrey brought down after a gain of 1. Jordan Kanashik, the tackle, the linebacker for Cal, the sophomore from Roseville near Sacramento.
You think back to Kevin Hogan's years in the lineup for Stanford, guy who ended up going on to win nearly 40 games, all-time winningest quarterback in Stanford history. But early in his time as a starter, he struggled a bit with pulling the trigger and with taking advantage of passing opportunities the defense gave him. Keller Christ further along in his development than Kevin Hogan was at this point in their careers.
Second and goal. Play action. The dump off. Greg Tabuada. Just shy of the goal line as he stumbled, lost his footing.
Just maybe got a little overexcited. He wasn't really tackled by anyone else but the turf monster. Nice bootleg action from Christ. Throws an easy, catchable ball to Tabuada. He saw the wide open end zone and his legs failed him.
Inside the 1. Third and goal. Christian McCaffrey up over the pile. Touchdown, Stanford. Third for McCaffrey today.
What you notice in these situations where Christian McCaffrey dives over the top, he'll keep it on the interior, but he allows Johnny Caspers to come as the puller in the Ogre package and then leaps over the back of his most trusted blocker.
Conrad Ukropina for the extra point as Stanford has pushed the lead out to 2 scores again. And the extra point, it's good. And Christian McCaffrey doing it again, but it's Keller Christ who made this happen.
More twists and turns than a theme park roller coaster in the 119th big game. Arcega-Whiteside just barely reels the football in. Christian McCaffrey over the top. The big game. Watch this or watch nothing.
Pac-12 football is presented by Valvoline, now celebrating 150 years under the hood. For more on the storied history of Valvoline, visit teamvalvoline.com. And by Dr. Pepper, it's a college football tradition. And by Clean Crisp Coors Light. With great beer comes great responsibility. Stanford up 2 touchdowns early 4th quarter. Of the 119th big game as Christian McCaffrey continues a monster performance. 3 touchdowns now and a big game rushing record of 269 yards as it'll be a touchback from Jake Bailey. Out to the 25 for Cal, 38-24, and Christian McCaffrey today has been sensational.
I don't know how much more can be expected from him, but he continues to deliver overall, and who also delivers for us, our crew here. People like Jillian, Jeremy do such a phenomenal job all year long. This is my first year with this crew, with us on the Pac-12 Network, making the booth look good, trying to keep us looking good with the lights, the backdrop. different things we have to do sometimes on the ground to make our shots frame up properly. But you appreciate the effort of the entire crew.
Kalfani Muhammad with the carry, and also they're braving the elements today. Most of our crew is outside, and we appreciate everything they do. While we're nice and warm and dry in here.
In the ivory tower, just looking down on everyone.
And on second down, Davis Webb to Chad Hansen, and a short gain. Quinton Meeks there for the Cardinal. And it's third down, inside 12 minutes to go now. Third and 6, Cal at their own 29. Here is Webb under pressure, and Kalfani Muhammad dropped it. Wouldn't have gotten far anyways, as Kevin Palma was right there, and it's fourth down.
From this field position, I would agree with the thought of punting the football, but you know, once you get towards and certainly beyond midfield, that's where, for me, as I said, even coming out of the half, that Sonny Dykes would need to find fourth down opportunities. Not from here, though.
Only the second punt for Dylan Klump. Davis Webb has punted 3 times today, the Cal quarterback.
And done pretty well with it.
So here is Klump. Christian McCaffrey breaks a tackle from Ashton Davis. And McCaffrey brings it back out across the 40-yard line. So Stanford with the ball and a 14-point lead. 11:26 left in the big game.
All right, here we go with the kickoff. They're still in deep trouble at midfield. They tried to do a couple of... The ball is still loose as they get it to Rogers. They give it back now to the 30. They're down to the 20. Oh, the band is out on the field. He's going to go into the end zone. He's going into the end zone. The Bears have won. The Bears have won.
Oh, that play was a miracle, and that's what's on the line. The winner gets the axe, and Stanford the ball and a 14-point lead. 11:26 to go. Bryce Love spelling Christian McCaffrey. Spinning into James Looney, and a loss on the play for Bryce Love.
Cal defense rising up in that moment on first down. Not putting Keller Crisp well behind the chains. So you factor in weather conditions if you're David Shaw, and the level of trust you have in your quarterback to see if he can throw you out of a 2nd and 13 hole. I think more likely you're going to trust the offensive line here to maybe try to run you into a 3rd and more manageable.
Yoga formation with Nick Wilson in. On second down, Love the carry. And Love brought down shy of the 45 by Jordan Kanashik. And it's third down for Stanford, as it's been Love on this drive. McCaffrey getting a breather here after a Stanford single game record. 269 yards rushing. 3 touchdowns for McCaffrey, who checks back in, including a 90-yarder in the first half.
So much inexperience on the field, especially in this Cal secondary. Can anyone be counted upon to make a play? Potential takeaway opportunity if they can take advantage.
Chris keeps, and Chris goes nowhere. Cameron Saffel, Tony McCary make the stop for Cal, and it's fourth down.
Saffel so effectively off the left edge, keeps his shoulders square, shuffles down, and then honors Keller Crisp as he tries to keep it. From there, you see so many other blue jerseys rallying their way to the football, forcing the punt.
And Jake Bailey, the Stanford punter, out on the field. Vic Wharton, the return man for Cal, standing inside the Golden Bears 20. Wharton from his 10. Russell down shy of the 20 after a 47-yard punt, and good hang time from Jake Bailey, and Cal gets the ball. And of course the big game, there's been so many greats over the years. John Elway, Ron Rivera, Ed McCaffrey, Christian's dad, Tony Gonzalez, Troy Walters, Nnamdi Asomugha. Of course, Marshawn Lynch, although the golf cart was not part of the big game. Toby Gerhardt, Andrew Luck, and Christian McCaffrey now putting his name down at big game lore as Davis Webb under pressure. And Webb dumps it off. And Bug Rivera the catch. As Rivera now with 6 grabs today.
And while it was a laughable topic for Jake Spavital when I asked him about the mobility of Davis Webb, and you could tell it's something they've been joking back and forth about with their deeply close relationship throughout the year, but I'm very impressed at the size of Davis Webb, how well he moves.
Webb trying to get that one and squeeze it into Chad Hansen. Again, it's Quentin Meeks in coverage for Stanford. Hansen just 4 catches, 81 yards today, and most of it coming on that 70-yard touchdown catch and Cal's first offensive play of the day. 3rd and 4. Peter Kalambayi jumped offside. Webb takes a shot for Demetrius Robertson. It's incomplete, but the penalty should give Cal a first down. As Davis Webb trying to take advantage of the free play.
Offside. Number 34 defense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Well, it should be a first down because it was 3rd and 4, and by my math, 5 yards is more than 4, and that's a first down.
The chain gang agrees with you as they have moved.
Just over 8.5 minutes to play. Kalfani Muhammad to the outside. And he's run out of bounds. Joey Alfieri leading the charge for Stanford.
Muhammad had a nice lead block from Malik McMorris. He just needs to press the hole. I referenced the vision and how important that is for a ball carrier sometimes. If he would have just kept that inside of the lead block, there's an opportunity to advance the football further than him bouncing it.
2nd down 9. They're trying for the reverse, but sniffing that one out is Sean Barton. The linebacker for the Cardinal just blasted through. Sensational play by the sophomore Sean Barton from North Salt Lake, Utah.
And Barton's been inconsistent with his reads in the run game, but when he's attacking downhill, that's when he's at his best.
A loss of 7 as the trick play backfires. 3rd and 16.
Stanford showing pressure off both edges. Does Davis Webb believe him? If he does, what will he do? Throw it into the pressure.
The screen set up and Stanford ready for it. There's a flag. Stanford snipped that one out. Again, it's Sean Barton. I think Stanford adjusted and they were ready for that.
Holding number 75 offense. That penalty is declined. 3rd down.
A loss back to the 20, and it's 4th down and El Cerrito to go for the Cal offense.
Well, it's what I like about the way Lance Anderson calls the games defensively. As I mentioned earlier, he's not frivolous with his blitzing. There's a lot of teams around the country who, sometimes with good reason because it's fun, and other times just like to bring a lot of bodies into the backfield. Stanford's so sound up front, they can situationally pick times where they bring additional pressure.
Dylan Klump punts to McCaffrey toward the sideline, and McCaffrey fields it out of bounds. Stanford with the football. 7:14 to go in the big game, and the Cardinal up 38-24. Stanford with the ball at their own 40-yard line. 7:14 remaining. 38-24. The Cardinal with the lead. Chris to play action, and it's tipped and knocked down by Cameron Sappel, and it's incomplete.
I like the call because it's safe. Still an opportunity to try to take advantage of the defense if you outflank them. Cameron Southwood didn't come up with that deflection. Probably looking at least a first down there because of how nimble Dalton Schultz is.
From the Stanford 40. And it's Christian McCaffrey. And McCaffrey up over 270 yards now. And it's third down. And here's McCaffrey and his footwork earlier.
Let's go in sync with it. Two different angles just showing what he's seeing. Let's take you inside the mind of Christian McCaffrey and his vision. Freeze it right there for a moment. Right here, he knows he's going to cut the football back against the grain. Still looks like, and we can let it roll, the defense is there, but it's been cut down on the backside by his guard, Johnny Casper. So the entire way, as that play is designed, the initial lateral movement, setting the defense up, offensive line executes it properly. Great vision from McCaffrey to get into the paint.
On third down for Chris. Looking for Michael Rector. And Rector, there's a flag.
Pass interference. Number 27 defense. Picking out penalty from the previous spot. That's an automatic. First down.
I love the mentality because they've been giving these opportunities to Stanford throughout the game. The question has been whether or not Keller Crisp would pull the trigger. We see him more and more throughout this game, the comfort level of a young quarterback, an inexperienced football player from the pocket looking for the strike opportunities.
As Rector appeared to slow down a bit and try to get some contact with Ashton Davis. And it gives Stanford 15 yards and a first down. Here's McCaffrey. Brought down by Tony McCary. So McCaffrey is 29th carry of the day. Stanford trying to put this one away and keep the axe and win the big game for the 7th consecutive season.
We're getting all the natural sound throughout Memorial Stadium right now with the fans as we see the Stanford Axe down there at field level. You're hearing our voices. Garrett Knapp down in the truck has been doing a sensational job throughout the season. All these things, the different microphones that happen, they have to be mixed, and everything has to work together in audio unison. It's like a symphony.
McCaffrey waiting, and the hesitation right near the marker. Ashton Davis, Cameron Walker on the tackle. It should be enough to move the chains and give Stanford another first down. The Cardinal have just eclipsed 500 yards of total offense today. McCaffrey sitting now at 283 for the day. And anyway, he gets back into the Heisman talk.
I'd say yes, there's a chance. I don't believe that it's all the way there yet. But yes, there's a chance because right now we're looking at a race.
First charge timeout. Stanford. It's a 30-second timeout.
Timeout taken by Stanford, and they're getting ready for the stare down. There is the axe. It's making its way over toward the west side of the stadium, and there's a special cornered off area where that stare down will go down.
And Roxy, I know you know this story well because you've been through so many big games. And the Stanford Axe, as I referenced earlier, back in 1899, made its debut during a baseball game. Stanford students, they introduced it, and they were decapitating this straw man, this California straw man they put together in blue and gold. And the next day, Stanford students were taunting their Cal counterparts, cutting pieces of the blue and gold ribbon with the axe. Cal rallied for an upset in the baseball game, and then from there it became more and more formed, more and more organized over the years until 1933. Both sides agreed the axe would be the ideal trophy for the big game.
Tony McCary, the tackle on Christian McCaffrey. That was carry number 30 for the Stanford running back. And if you're wondering, well, where are they going? Where are they taking it? They're just taking it underneath the stadium, and they're moving it around underneath.
For safety's sake.
Over toward the special barricades just for the stare down. Second and 9. Chris will throw. Looking for the end zone. Trenton Irwin, touchdown. 30 yards, and for Irwin, his first touchdown of the season. And that one will put it away for Stanford. First career touchdown for Trenton Irwin.
Been calling for it throughout the game, and Keller Christ answering the bell in the second half. Trenton Irwin, one-on-one. And when Stanford can drop bombs like this, let's look out below time.
Conrad Ukrupina for the extra point. And Ukrupina makes it 45-24. Some pretty good efficiency, and the adjustments that Stanford made. The first half, it was tied a 3-point game at the half. What have you noticed from Stanford here in the second half of the adjustments that David Shaw and his staff made?
On the offensive side of the football, the run game had been there throughout the entire contest, but as the second half wore on, you could see the comfort level of Keller Christ increase and finding the opportunities, taking advantage of the opportunities, one-on-one matchups, both outside the numbers and sometimes up the hashes with his tight end. That's just the growth and maturation of a quarterback who's been in the lineup a little bit longer now.
And growth is the key word, because we talked with David Shaw and yesterday. That's the word that kept coming up over and over again, was growth from this team. They may have had some growing pains along the way this year, that tough stretch, losing games to the Washington schools and Colorado. But they have come out of that, and now they'll be on their way to their 4th straight win, and they host Rice next week at Stanford Stadium. Kalfani Muhammad, and nowhere for him to go, brought down at the 15. Nord Davis there for the Cardinal along with Barton. And Cal with the ball and 4:10 to play, as Stanford will try to take an 8-3 record into that matchup with Rice right here on Pac-12 Network next Saturday.
Well, it's not an exact parallel, but there's shades of 2014 when Stanford had, what people would perceive as a down season for them that year.
Chad Hansen the catch out across the 30.
But then found ways to finish strong, to bring the season around late. Had a great bowl performance, and then that catapulted them into the Pac-12 championship that they earned last season in a victory in the Rose Bowl.
Here is Hansen again, and that one will go for no gain. Is the Cardinal ready for that? And it's Mustafa Branch on the stop. Second down and 10. Davis Webb, 341 yards through the air. Looking for Demetrius Robertson, the freshman, with a nice catch. And Cal gets into Stanford territory.
Robertson makes it look so effortless. And I'll repeat the point I made earlier. He was a double wing running back as a high school football player. And so all the intricacies of the wide receiver position, some of it just comes very natural to him. Some of it you're seeing the growth.
Hansen, and there's a flag. But getting back to your point about Robertson, and he's learning the wide receiver position. That's what Sonny Dykes, Jake Spavital were telling us, and it's been an ongoing process, and he's emerging.
Pass interference, number 24 defense, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. That's a batting, first down.
But one thing that's so obvious that I can even see it, he's a special talent.
Right. Physical gifts off the charts. But when you talk to every coach on the Cal staff, the teammates of Demetrius Robertson, he's a player I've been covering since he was in high school, a very special person. He's an artist, looking at getting into graphic design at some point. Yes, sir, no, sir. Coach me, coach me. 15, 20 minutes early to every class. He wants to soak up every opportunity in front of him.
Webb, and it's bobbled and dropped by Raymond Hudson. And he took his time when he made his college decision, as Demetrius Robertson didn't sign on signing day. He wanted to be sure he made the right decision, and he didn't come to it till well after signing day. In fact, when he made his announcement, because he comes all the way from Savannah, Georgia, there were people that booed him at his press conference as Davis Webb incomplete, as they were expecting Demetrius Robertson to choose the University of Georgia, possibly Georgia Tech, stay home. And how about that? You're a 17-year-old kid and you're having a press conference to announce you're going to college, and people decide to boo you because you made what you feel is the best decision for you?
It's the unnatural level of fanaticism.
Number 75. That penalty is declined. Third down.
It's the unnatural level of fanaticism. It's there in some parts of SEC country. He's from Savannah, Georgia. Georgia was in the mix. Alabama was in the mix. Notre Dame, Stanford.
Third down. Webb looking for Hansen, trying to come back for it, fighting for the football. They're both there. No signal. Now we have it. Touchdown. Wrestling with Quentin Meeks and Chad Hansen. His second touchdown catch of the big game.
Well, the emergence of Chad Hansen at the start of this season was a shock to many people. At this point where defenses have seen how productive he is, he's getting more attention from secondaries, more bracket coverage. He continues to fight. He's responded at almost every opportunity.
Anderson the extra point, 45-31 Stanford, 3:01 to go in the big game, and stranger things, Anthony, have happened in the big game. Let's flash back to 1990. Ed McCaffrey, the father of Christian McCaffrey, with a touchdown catch. Then Cal stops a two-point conversion, but we're penalized for excessive celebration, 15 yards. Stanford recovers the onside kick that seemed to lay on the field for an eternity. And then a questionable personal foul call, Anthony. You're a D lineman.
Back in my day, that wouldn't have been a flag. This is even earlier than my day. That was surprising.
And that changed what could have been a 52-yard field goal to a 37-yarder. And you talk to the Stanford people, that's their answer to the play, is 9 points in the final 12 seconds. And for David Shaw, his favorite big game was the 1991, his first year on the farm. He didn't play in the game, but it's still his favorite big game. And those final 12 seconds where Stanford scored 9 points to pull out the miraculous win.
There's been some phenomenal finishes in this rivalry over the years. Talent like Russell White, Glenn Milburn, Ed McCaffrey, you referenced being on display there. David Shaw remembers it fondly.
So Cal looks like they're lining up for an onside kick, and it's Noah Beto. As the bait and switch is pulled, it's loose. Stanford has it. Justin Reed falls on the football.
Some hijinks, tomfoolery.
And Stanford with the ball and a 14-point lead. 2:59 to play, recovering the onside kick. Cal does have all 3 timeouts.
Well, if history tells us anything, David Shaw would likely prefer to finish this game without having to attempt another pass.
Here is Love on the carry, spins his way down to the 36. We'll see when Cal likes to take their timeouts. And the last 10 times Stanford has come into the big game with the better record, they have won. The last time they did not win when they had the better record coming into big game. You got to go all the way back to 1994 as the Axe making its reappearance at Memorial Stadium. And that 1994 big game, which Cal won right here, was the last game that Bill Walsh coached.
That's a serious looking crew right there.
Game face definitely on.
They're not messing around.
Another carry for Love. And Love fights forward, has a first down to the Cal 31-yard line. And there's so many overlapping stories with the big game, but this is what it's all about right here. The axe, the two sides, the division right there between the two. Is anybody blinking down there? Anybody? Are you tempted to drop 100 and see if anybody moves? You might have to drop more because they're Cal and Stanford students.
Roxy, I've got a pretty close view here, and I have not seen one blink yet. Both groups at absolute attention.
Ryan Burns at quarterback, trouble with his snap, but he falls on it. Lewis, drop some money. See if that does the trick.
Yeah, I don't think it will. I don't think it will. And as you know, Roxy, they cannot look at the field until the clock reads 0-0-0. Stanford, of course, holding the trophy since for the last 6 years, and it looks like they'll get it for a 7th. But this is the moment, as you mentioned, the final stand before either the handover or the retention, and we know that's what it's going to be in 2016.
1 minute to go. The pitch. This is Cameron Scarlett on the carry, and Scarlett to the outside. Brought down by Devontae Downs, and Cal electing not to use their timeouts here.
And I didn't see a head turn, when there's a bit of a crowd reaction. 13 members of the California Rally Committee, 13 members of the Stanford Axe Committee. Word.
This could be the final play as Pat McFadden comes in at running back for the Cardinal. Behind a tremendous performance, a Stanford single game rushing record, Christian McCaffrey. 284 yards and 3 touchdowns as McFadden brought down by James Looney. And that will do it for the 119th big game. And Stanford has won 7 in a row from California. And the Cardinal, 45-31, will take the Axe back to the farm with them.
No peaceful transition of power necessary for the Stanford Axe. The Cardinal maintain their possession yet again.
There's Michael Rector and Johnny Caspers dragging it. You know, somebody's still attached to that thing.
I don't know that Solomon Thomas would even notice. He was dragging bodies along with him.
And they race it over toward the Stanford end of Memorial Stadium. And the Cardinal, 555 yards of total offense today. And Christian McCaffrey, 31 carries, 284 yards, 3 touchdowns, including a 90-yarder. And a Stanford single game rushing record by McCaffrey. And we send it down to Lewis Johnson.
Well, Coach, you began this day thinking about 2 things, getting the W and retaining the Axe. So what does it mean to have done so for the 7th time in a row?
Well, it's big for our seniors. You know, our seniors, we talk about it throughout the year. We have a picture in our team room every year that we win the Axe of our seniors with the Axe. We'll be able to change that picture again this year. And that's what it's about. It's about the seniors, being able to have bragging rights for the next year.
How do you describe the flow of this game? You guys had a field goal lead at the half, and then in the 3rd quarter, McCaffrey got wild with his touchdowns, and then you just continued to run the ball and take it on to the house.
Well, we wanted to be, you know, kind of as balanced as we could be, but we knew we wanted to come back down and start running the ball. We wanted to get to mix it up, have some movement plays, some downfield passing, and then when the game got to the nitty-gritty, we're going to ride number 5.
All right, now, away from all the X's and O's and everything else, you played in this game when you won it, and now you've coached again to win it. Come on, what does this feel like?
It's special. It's special. I mean, it's hard to describe, you know, because it's so local. You know, people across the nation understand it to a certain degree, but it's so local. It's bragging rights for the next year. But this is a great rivalry. It's a respectful rivalry, you know, where there's a lot of handshaking after the game. But the bottom line is we get to keep it for another year.
All right, heading back to Palo Alto. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Roxy?
All right, Lewis, so David Shaw remains undefeated in big game as the Stanford head coach as they win at 45-31 and retain the Axe for another year until they reconvene at Stanford Stadium next season And it was behind the performance of Christian McCaffrey today. 31 carries, 284 yards, and 3 touchdowns. A Stanford single-game rushing record for McCaffrey. For my partner, Anthony Herron, Lewis Johnson, our director, Scott Barkey, our producer, Michael Molinari. So long from Memorial Stadium. I'm Roxy Bernstein. We now send you to the Sonic postgame report.